welcome to Unlock Your Mind. My name is Bwalya Chilombo, and this program is the first in the many programs to come. January 17th marks 59 years since Patrice Lumumba was assassinated in the Congo. You could be wondering how come Bwalya Chilombo is talking about Patrice Lumumba. Where is this coming from? I know a lot of you know me as a fashion designer. So for me to start this walk about Africa, whose presidents have been in Africa, who has tried to uplift Africa, is because of what I've noticed, going around, as in most Africans are not uplifted. Most African Americans are not uplifted. And you find that there's a system in place which is targeting Africans and blacks to remain where we've been. I mean, Africa is very, very rich. It is the richest continent in the whole world. And yet we are finding that there's poverty. Why? Poverty is a big business for certain people. Now, I want to really focus on Patrice Lumumba, because Patrice served the Congo as minister for 7 months. He was the first president after King Leopold had to leave. King Leopold had never even set foot in the Congo, even when the killings were happening, whatever was happening, he was not even there. He was in Belgium, but he had authority over Congo. And I'm sure you would look back and see that it was when they divided Africa, and Britain took a part, France took part, and Portugal, and all these countries which just divided Africa and messed us up. So what happened with Patrice is that he ruled for 7 months, and Patrice was a bold leader. He was told what to say during his inauguration. They sent him a sheet of what he had to say about which way forward for the Congo. And he was there writing his own script. He read it and he was like, no, this is nonsense. And he wrote down his own script for his people and what will take the Congo forward. What happened after that? They were very, very disappointed. If you want, you can go to YouTube and just type in Patrice Lumumba, the assassination, Patrice Lumumba, leadership, and a lot of stuff will come up. It's not a secret about who even killed Patrice Lumumba. So that is what happened. 7 months later, he was taken by the Belgian army. He was taken by the Congolese army because they brought up someone who now was against Patrice Lumumba. And we all know now that it was Mobutu. Mobutu took over from Patrice. He was even there in the forefront. The only thing I knew about, Congo was the rumba. So I was like, no wonder. The only thing I remember about Congo now is like rumba. What a turnaround of things, It's like when I hear Congo or Zaire, I think about dancing queens and drinking and, anyway. It's okay to have fun, but for me, I think it's too much for me to just think Congo, Zaire, and I think rumba, I think dancing queens. That was the turnaround that happened. After Patrice took over 3 months into his leadership, Congo had started changing. And the Belgians, the Americans, they did not like that. They did not like what was happening. So they organized to take out Patrice Lumumba. First, the CIA failed to get to him. They tried to, poison him using toothpaste. They failed to get to him. And what did they do? What they always do when they fail, they bring in your own people to take you out. Now, on that point, I really want to talk to us as Africans. Africa has so much wealth. We do not even need to kill anyone for it. When we see someone standing up for our country and saying, no, you know what, Britain, I think now we have to do things this way. I love Kagame. I just need to speak about that because what he did, they sent them aid, and we all know that Africa is owed so much. So even when they say they are sending you aid, they are just bringing back what they already owe you, what they took without even your authority. So what they did, when they were helping Kagame establish Rwanda and build Rwanda, they sent in the aid, and he said that, you know what, can you just leave us and we see how we can do this thing? Because the other thing is when people give you finances, they want to be behind you and see what you do with it. And I think that normally would deter whatever plan you have to build your country up. So that has worked for Kagame. He said, all right, the aid, thank you. Can you just leave us alone? We try and see how we can build our country. And now we see what has happened. So we see that with Patrice Lumumba, when he started building, and he said, no, these are the conditions. We are the ones with the minerals. We are the ones with this wealth. This is our wealth. And we will be able to set the rules on how we want the wealth distributed or sold. And they didn't like that. So they ordered him arrested. They arrested him. Patrice Lumumba wrote to the UN, the United Nations. His pleas fell on deaf ears. He wrote to Russia. Russia offered to help with the weapons, but they couldn't help, really get involved. They just said, okay, this is what we can do for you so far. He wrote to whoever he had to write to. Whoever you think now should come in to help you is who he wrote to. And we know the United Nations was one of them, but it just all fell on deaf ears. So what they did, they took him to Leopoldville Villa, and that is where they beat them up. They beat them up so badly when they were in flight. The pilot even said, you know what, you guys, you are messing up with the flight. They were just causing confusion on the plane as they beat them up. So he was with two of his ministers, those that did not bow down. So Patrice was actually assassinated with two of his ministers. So they went to that villa. They locked them up for 8 weeks. They were in that villa. Until finally they decided they had to take him out. He was a threat. He could not just be alive. And during his stay in prison, he wrote a lot of letters. I would advise you to just go on YouTube, go on Google, and just type out Patrice Lumumba, and a lot of stuff will come out. So that's how they got him. They assassinated him. They killed him first. They killed the other two ministers. And what they did is they just really had so much hatred for him. It's all written down. They had to chop him up. They chopped them up, and they melted them in acid. That's how they just took him away. They just found that he was a threat to them. And this has happened over 22 times with African leaders. You need to note that we are not lazy. We are not cowards. We are hardworking, but we just have so much blocking us from being who we want to be. I mean, there's just so many people telling us what to do. And, it's just time that we just sit and just say, okay, as Africans, what can we do? And I know we can do a lot. I know there are a lot of Africans who have left the country to go in the diaspora thinking that is where the hope is. But there are people coming here, taking out our minerals. Always remember that. In the end, we'll be thinking, England is the place to be. And all the Africans will go to England. And everyone in England will come where? To Africa. And now they'll be sitting on the wealth, and there'll be nothing left. All those factories you're going for in England or America or wherever, those will even shut down. Why? They are fueled by what? The minerals that are coming from Africa. So you know what? It's time to just hold hands. I just wanted to just pay tribute to Patrice Lumumba. I mean, 1 year ago, I wouldn't have been sitting here talking like this. But I've just had to sit down and think through and just look at people, see how they are suffering. And when I look at the conductors, I look at the Caponias, I look at these people trying to make ends meet. This morning, I was getting passport pictures with my son, and the lights were off. And one gentleman just called me and said, Mami, come here, there's somewhere where you can take pictures. And I went with him. And when we got there, I found that there's someone else who was going to take the picture. He just, brought me there. So I went with a gentleman who had the camera, and this guy who brought me insisted that I stay there. And I knew that he wanted to get his cut because he took me there. So I just told him, no problem, just wait. I have to go with my son. He's 12 years old. I can't just let him go with the cameraman. So that's how we went. We took the picture, and then we came back. And he had told me it was 30 kwacha, and I gave him the 30 kwacha. So he took the 10 kwacha for himself, and he gave the 20 kwacha to the cameraman. So I said, no, you shouldn't worry. I know. I was going to go around looking for, who to give me take the picture for my son. But you did me a favor, and you brought me here. I mean, that is your 10 kwacha for bringing me here. So we shouldn't beat down people who are trying to make ends meet in this world where they are being robbed. That cameraman's inheritance is being robbed by the minerals that we have. That poor boy who can't be in school, that poor girl who can't be in school, that mother who is sitting at the market every day just trying to make ends meet, that woman's education or whatever it is that she has, the inheritance has been stolen. and is still being stolen. Why? Because of those papers that we sign when people come into leadership. We know which other leaders have been attacked. We know which other leaders have been given sanctions because they say, I will not sell my country. This wealth is for our people. For example, Zimbabwe, I know a lot of people hate Mugabe, and they just can't understand so they are calling him cruel. Even Zimbabweans. I remember there was a time with Zambia, it happened with KK, sanctions. Why? Because he said, I will not sell my people. I will never, ever do that. He would rather step down and bring in someone else. And we all know what happens when that someone else comes in. We all know what happens to the mines. It's not like people don't know that these mines were not there. My dad used to work for the mines. And when leadership changed, I'm not beating down anyone. I'm just saying it from the point of view that my dad told me. He used to work in the mines. He said, you know what? KK knew that we have all these minerals. It's not like they didn't know. We had a vault in the mines with all the positions where the minerals in Zambia are. Copper was being given time. I thought, okay, we'll see. As the years go by, as we are progressing, as we are building Africa, we will be able to open these other mines when we see that, copper now is depreciating or it's going down. Let's open these other mines. So you shouldn't get excited when you hear, they found the gold in what? They find. It was there already. It was there in the plan. My dad told me there was a vault, high security voltage in the mines. Only few people, and he never told any of us. He only spoke after that happened, that he saw that all the mines were being opened. That was top secret. They knew about that already. So don't get excited knowing that there are these things that are coming up, stones and what. Africa is very wealthy, but it needs people who can stand up. People like Patrice Lumumba. You need to be ready to say, if it has to take the bullet, so be it, but I have to do what I have to do. And which is why Africa needs to come together and unite. We need to be one force. We need to be one entity. We need to speak one language. We need to have one currency. We need to have leadership that loves its people. Leadership that knows that we are so rich, we don't have to steal. That is the leadership we need. We are so rich, we don't have to pocket anything. We have to just build Africa, and we have so much. You know what? The leaders don't know that they have so much they don't have to steal. But they need to stand up and be bold and hold hands. I don't know if the 55 presidents have ever sat down to really think how we can be one Africa and how we can really just, bring Africa up. So those are my thoughts, and I am just thinking, the killing of Patrice I'm 50 years now. It's only in the last 1 year that this awakening has come. I'm now seeing that, really, we are not poor at all. It is not us who need to come with the plates. It's France, actually, that needs to go to Africa and say, can you please negotiate and tell us what you want? Not the other way around. It's America that needs to come and say, so you have this that we need for our computers, for our phones and this and that. Well, how can we agree? And that can only happen if we have one Africa, one united Africa, one currency, one language, and one mind with all the leaders. That is what, Africa needs. I think I'll end here for now, and there's more to come on Unlock Your Mind. Thank you very much.